up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys I've been managing the portfolio and surviving the polling crisis. And yeah, there's that. We will get into all of that as well. Pretty crazy day yesterday for sure. Let me pull up the trading view as you guys are piling in. All right, I believe you guys all should be able to see trading view. We got Albert in the house. Good morning. Alex, good morning. Bill, Brian, Cedric. We got David with us. We got David again. We have a David H. And then a different David. Is that? I don't know if that's two same Davids. I don't know. We got Doug. Good morning. We got Doug D. We got Eric in the house. Gerline, I'm not sure if I even said that correctly, but I tried my best. Good morning. Apologize if I was completely off. We got Jay. Good morning. Jess is in the house. We got Jill, Joe, Jordan. We got Jose, JT. My girl Carrie's with us. We got Ken. Good morning. My boy Michael Holt. We got Natalie, Patrick. Good morning. Quan Trans in the house. We got Ron, Sam, Sylvan, Terrence, Tony. Yes, sir. What is happening? What is happening? That is a question we probably had most of the day yesterday, to be honest. So let's pull up a smaller time frame. Let's go to 30-minute time frame. All my people on YouTube land piling in. Ernesto, good morning. We got Raymond in the house. What is popping? All right. So yesterday we were sitting with a nice gap up. Again, above some key levels on the PPI. We were looking good, but then after that, there was pretty much just a drizzle in the market to relatively flat. There was no news. There was no nothing. It got very stale, very quick. It was just a slow little, again, just drip. I was watching these levels very closely. This 398, looking for, okay, well, we're not going up. Let's try to play the downside. Let's see if we could just, not that there was a lot of room to the downside, but I was waiting for the more or less to hit some of these key levels, see if we can get a bounce. And then all of a sudden we get reports that there was, well, here, yeah, so stray missile, Tony says. Here's the thing about the stray missile, though. And I think later the U.S. came out and said that the Russian missile was not from Russia. So I don't know who dropped the Russian missile. And then there was the guy underneath Zelensky from Ukraine. He was on media. He was on TV pretty much going, no, it's them. We need war. All hands on deck. This is atrocious. And so like Ukraine's like, yeah, no, it's them. Go for it. Russia's like, nah, it's not us. Or Russia was like, no, it was on purpose. We don't want that smoke. It's an accident. But you say stray missile. There was two. There was two missiles. How do you mess up one missile and then you accidentally sent two? I don't know. But we'll see how it all plays out. Again, we saw the initial drop, which was right here from that news that came out, and then it was all confusion after that as far as what's happening. The initial droppage of a missile is not the catalyst that's going to move the market. Obviously, it's going to move the market, but that's not the bigger picture. The bigger picture is what the response is. And everything that comes out maybe in the next couple weeks, if anything, that will be because if it's on NATO lands, that could cause some big deals. So, we went from calm day to the brink of World War III. Typical Tuesday. Other just key news, we did have Trump, which he was kind of signaling that he was running again. He did put his announcement out yesterday, so now we get back in the saddle with all the political everything and news crisis. So we'll see what happens, but we do have Trump that did officially announce that he's running again for the next presidency. So essentially it's the countdown to the next collusion story. We'll see what happens. But Right now we're just kind of chopping. We did have retail numbers come out. The interesting thing with the retail numbers, I actually thought they were kind of good. Like they weren't bad. And we had initial, I think the bots took it down a little bit. Market started buying it up, and right now it looks like we're coming down a little bit. Here's our 30-minute chart. We got a pretty sweet high wave candle. Watch the level of 398.23. Just says, is he going to be allowed back on Twitter? I think he is allowed. I don't think he will go. I think there's a difference. Matt R says, can I restart my trading career? I don't like 2022. Yeah, just throw the calendar away. Usually you get mailed a new calendar every year, so you're good to go. You just got to survive another month and a half, Matt. Pretty simple. But yeah, so watch that number very closely. That's going to be where we have a lot of, at this point, resistance, somewhere around 398.21. We did close above that yesterday, and now we're below those wicks, but we are sitting at some kind of high wave as well. Next spot down would be 395.14 to the downside. So it gives us a little wiggle room to the downside. After that, there's not much in the way. And that's also that was already retested one time with the missile controversy. So that was already retested, actually twice now. We did get some kind of a bounce, but every time we keep hitting into it, it's going to be a little bit of weak sauce, weaker and weaker every time it comes down. And then the next real spot is about 391.40, and then finally back to 389.74. So out of the gate today, I would have to be a little bit, I guess, still neutral. I can't really say we're definitely collapsing, we're definitely rising. We're kind of still neutral, I think. Based on as soon as the first reports came out, I did start getting, I wanted to wait for 413 on the SPY to really start getting heavier into some protection. But as soon as that, because even on Monday, I don't know, I don't know if it was the morning room or the afternoon room, one of them. I was like, no, I really want to wait till 413 because that would make everybody feel really comfortable in the markets, and that would definitely bring some more bulls in. I don't really see why anything, like, there's not a lot happening from now to the end of the year in terms of, like, I think we got one CPI. We got to deal with Jerome one more time. After that, there's not really much catalyst that could come out except for Black Swan. And then they go, Russia just attacked Poland. I'm like, Black Swan. There it is. We got it. So, again, I don't know how it plays out. So I did take some SPY puts. I took some puts on AMD just because and that was actually right before. That was actually pretty close to the high of the day of yesterday. So that kind of worked out. But just because it was in a spot that I liked. And we do have NVIDIA coming out with earnings after the bell today as well. The Black Swan, I didn't manifest it. No, I don't want my name on that one. But we'll see what happens. So again, we are sitting a little bit weaker, so I'll be a little neutral to bearish at open. And until we really start breaching and holding that 398 level. Let's check out the Qs real quick. QQQ. You'll see it on CNN. DJ Dan manifested missiles, and I'm like, no, I don't want NATO at my house. It'd be crazy. I don't know. Sometimes, see, this is why I don't know how the metaverse is going to work out, because sometimes real life is just crazier than anything that can be put into the metaverse. So I don't know. But yeah, wild day yesterday for sure. We have, let me take this off on the Qs real quick. There we go. Again, kind of in a little bit of just probably chop at open. We do have a 30-minute high wave. We're sitting right there. We're also sitting right at some kind of key support. So if this level where we open holds, we probably have, it's probably better to go actually long as opposed to short, just risk to reward wise. And then the next level down, you'd be looking for 286.72. Again, that was retested yesterday. After that spot, the next smaller one would be somewhere in 282.01, and realistically be looking for targets back to 278.27. I don't know if Woodshed woke up yet today, but I think he's still holding some bearish plays. That would pan out well for him in that one. They have you under that bright light. Seeing the QQQ TV commercial. No, I heard you talking about this commercial for 3 days now, Michael Holt. I still have not. If you would like to send me a link, I would definitely love to watch it. I don't even know how to find a QQQ commercial though. But yeah, I think I heard you mention it yesterday. I was like, nah, I didn't even know they had a QQQ commercial. I did see one for, I think we watched it together. It was was it Workhorse? Not Workhorse. Upwork, something like that. That was the first time I seen one of those. I'm starting to think Michael Holt was the creator of the QQQ commercial. I'm starting to think that. Just pushing it out there. Yeah, send me a link for sure. Let's see. We got yesterday good retest into for Delta to that level. We are slightly under it. And we have a long way to go on Delta back to probably the retest somewhere closer to 33.67. It's Delta. It's Delta. But doesn't look like a great open. It looks like a gap and go, at least for the last 30 minutes a day. We look like we are at least breaching where the bullish attempt started to come in. So I think Delta looks a little bit more bearish than bullish. We also have 1, 2, 3 VPOCs to the downside. So we might start to be forming some kind of a trend in a bearish direction. So again, we'll see maybe a little chop at open, and then I would lean a little bit more bearish than bullish on the ZON. It is an inside day though for 10 EMA purpose. Can't really use this one. Amazon will have access to play 10 EMA at open. Targets, at least initially, would be about $96.20. So that's what I would be gunning for. If that level breaks, we could see probably Amazon pull back closer to 94.26. And then we do have some levels down here that I think eventually will be retested. But much bigger support somewhere at $90. We'll have to see how big this market, if it does sell off, how big it wants to. Again, I don't know if we're there yet. But at least initial target, if we can make something work down to like 96.20, that would be how to play that one. Kind of a little choppy as far as VPOCs go, but where this VPOC will open, definitely trapping 1, 2, 3. So that to me looks a little bit more bearish than bullish. And that's definitely the direction I want to stick with Amazon for today. I don't know if they had any news come out, but you did have retail come out, and again, to me the numbers looked okay. I think it was more of the algos selling the retail, but keep in mind all these stocks, everything just massive run. We got Apple. Again, here's one that will qualify for us to play out of the gate. Actually, no, will not. So right now, inside day on this one, sitting at some kind of support, but a little bit below it. To the downside, I think we'd be looking for, and we have some key areas we got to break first. Probably really got to break 149.27 and start holding that. But next target to the downside, 148.24. If somehow that one breaks, I don't know if this happens today, but that would be 143.26 is where I'd be looking to go next. Otherwise, we're still a little bit more in a chop zone. Yesterday's VPOC definitely was higher than the rest of them, and technically we're still bullish. Only one little pullback. So this right now, I'd be looking, has a little buy the dip feel until we start really honestly breaking this 148. That's the trade once we break there. So again, we have NVIDIA coming out today with earnings after the bell. These will be interesting earnings. We went from, I think, $108 all the way up to 171, 170, 171, something like that, within the matter of a month. So that's a huge huge gainer. NVIDIA could come out and report something crazy, and maybe they get some kind of a run. I don't know that we go back to 108, at least after the earnings come out. But anytime, and again, I my crystal ball is I put it in the garage. I don't know what they're gonna do, but anytime I've seen big massive run into anything, it usually doesn't matter about the earnings. You're going to have people taking profit. I would also say today during the live open session, after this kind of move, if you got in anywhere at 108, 110, 112, 115, 120, 130, 140, and you're sitting on some profits, do you really, in this type of environment, want to carry it in to even see what the earnings report is? Or would you rather just ring the register, take the profits, and call it a day? I would think there's going to be some extra pressure on NVIDIA today. Chips were strong. Even AMD did run, so that's why as soon as AMD hit the spot that I was looking to short, I took advantage of it. I got the put. Whether it works out or not is a whole different story, but just kind of followed my plan on that one. Also knowing that there was a sympathy play on AMD with NVIDIA. If NVIDIA misses or they drop, maybe AMD goes with it as well. So Tony says, what do you do if you got in at 190 on NVIDIA? Why don't you sell some 190 calls? I'd probably be looking to sell some calls, because you're still gonna have some higher premium, but maybe sell a couple calls, buy a put or two for a lot lower just in case, and play it out like that. Tony says, yep, sold some calls on NVIDIA. Beautiful. Yep. This way, if it rallies, okay, they'll take you out. I mean, you're up $70 in a month. Eventually you will get some kind of a bigger pullback. And if it's not coming after the earnings, then cool. You at least lock in some more profits on the calls you sell. And if you got some puts on the table, great. If not, have some kind of plan for buying the dip, continued dollar cost average, all of that. But yeah, I would probably sell some calls. And if you get called away and they take your shares, fantastic. Wait for a bigger dip and play the wheel cycle, something like that, and could come back in. But again, at open, you're now below 1-2 different VPOCs. A little room of support at 160. I'll call it 160 even, probably a couple pennies higher, but we'll say 160, nice psychological whole number. And if that one breaks, probably heading back to about 155. But it's had a good run. Again, those reports have to be crazy. In fact, the investors have to be crazy too, because I would just take my profit. I would take my profit. Wouldn't even watch the earnings report. Wouldn't care. I'd go out and buy some ice cream. That's what I would do. But that's just me. Target has big gap down after earnings. All right, so we'll check that out. And then the Target earnings might be also affecting Amazon a little bit as well. But AMD, so this one is playable. So I believe NVIDIA was outside of yesterday too, right? Yep. So NVIDIA, AMD qualify. Again, AMD is slightly below key level. Again, another one that ran up. If NVIDIA has the pressure on it today, sympathy play, AMD probably will be a little bit weaker as well. This one I think has a little bit more room. So this one's next target is about $72.55, we'll call it. And if that breaks, the next target on this one will come back to about $67. So that's kind of where I'm targeting. That would also match up with some of this longer term uptrend that I have. And we'll see if the chart looks in the future something similar to this, at least to that double top, and then from that point, question mark, do we go higher or lower? I think the outside variables will affect what happens after that, but probably getting down to 67 and maybe looking for a slight bounce. We will see. The Tessie. Costco with a gap down as well. All right, we'll take a look at that. And we got Lowe's. Beautiful. All right, so sitting at a little bit of support from a few days ago is Tesla. Tesla does look like it will qualify at open. So a lot of things, I think there's only one stock, I got to go back, maybe it was Apple, that doesn't qualify. Everything right now, Tesla does look like it qualifies. We do have a little support, again, somewhere around 191. I'll call it 63, 60, 191.60. Sitting at a little bit of support there. And then we have really the next target would be 188.09. That one's already been retested. You have this one all the way back at let's call it 180, that's never been retested. So I do think at some point, to some extent, that one could be a little troublesome. So we'll see if we come back to that 180 zone on the Tessie. But here is a uptrends. This is our break of the uptrends. Maybe that was the retest and you're gapping underneath. Tesla to me looks like it would probably be a bit of a short at open as well. So, all right. See what happens with that one, but that one looks short. Let's go to Lowe's. LOW. Lowe's with a gap up. Kind of looks like a nice gap. Kind of doing something a little different than the rest of the market, which is good. You're above a key level. Yeah, I'd probably still stick bullish with this one. This is a gap and go technically. I imagine they had a red candle yesterday. Let's see. Lowe's going higher. No, so this one's technically a retest gap, but at least location of this one looks decent. So the next target for me, 216.12. So maybe come a little bit under that, 215.43. So you have about at least $4 to the upside before we start running into a little bit of maybe some kind of resistance. I mean, even though this is a green candle, technically it's a high wave indecision. See if you could get like I would love to see a red candle on this one, and then we take a break bullish. See if we get a little bit of retest. The only reason I'm thinking maybe that doesn't even happen is just because you are sitting right now slightly above that previous VPOC over here. But it is technically, you do have a little bit more bulls, plus you do have this run up. So there's definitely some bulls profitable in that trade. But it does have a little bit of a higher target TGT. Target trapping. Oh, I don't know what symbol I just attempted to try. There we go. I guess it hit my target from whenever I was doing something. Back in the day. Nailed it to the penny. Yeah, this gap down on this one is pretty horrific. It's pretty horrific. You definitely are trapping some bulls on this one, breaking this pivot. Okay, looks good. The only thing is you are at a little bit of support. I would actually be a little patient on this one. I know nobody wants to hear it. They'd much rather hear like, just jump in, do it. But there's definitely some weakness in this thing. Again, I would be cautious for the first 5 minutes, see what happens, and then look for, if it immediately comes for a breakdown, look for a retest. If it starts going bullish, then look for some kind of a breakdown of those newer bullish candles. But you are in a little chop zone, and you do have a little support base. Yeah, $30 drop. That doesn't help. It's $30 drop. Target does pay dividends. Target will survive any recession, albeit they might struggle a little bit, but not as much as probably Tesla. They definitely have some cheaper items as well, so they're kind of primed if we do hit some type of recession. But yeah, if Target starts to really sell, I think there's a lot of buyers, including myself, that would be looking to build a position in Target. This is not the zone that I'm looking to start making some of those moves. But yeah, what scares me here is you do have a little support and you're sitting right at it. So probably this one maybe get some kind of a bounce first, and then ultimately probably a little bit more short, longer term. Somebody wants to see Zim, ZIM. All right, got it. All right, so we got Zim. This one is technically a gap and go. This one probably looks relatively decent. So you have some bulls that came, obviously some high volume there, some high volume there. This would definitely be prime for the one candle pullback and then run bullish. All of that little support. There's your break. Somebody's going to be profitable on this gap up from this initial pop. Then you had 2 rest days. I would treat this one a little bit more, not so much as a gap and go, but a retest. So I would say wait for that retest to come in, try to buy this one low, but it does look like we've cleared a pretty decent spot. You do have a bull flag on there. We're jumping up. And yeah, if this one comes back for a retest, that would be your buy, at least on a swing trade basis. Today, I don't know if I'd want to short it, but if it comes down lower, I would look to day trade this one bullish. Zim is 18% short. Whew. We're gonna get some short floats on here. Integrated shipping services. The 18% might pull might cause a little boom. But yeah, for me, even if it goes without me, I'm good with it. But I would think that we could get a little bit of pullback first. Some of those people got to be taking profits. And if that happens, that would be an opportunity to look to get long on Zim for sure. Erica in YouTube land says, what is VPOC? VPOC is just the highest volume per price. So during this day on Zim, you see this little red line. At that price, that's the most volume. So that's where the most people were getting in, either long or short. And at this point, if there was long, they're going to be protecting that position now that it's up there. So look for that to be some kind of support. Because if it comes down here, anybody that's going long, they're going to throw more money at it to push it back up higher. We will see. Again, stay nimble in these markets. Let's see real quick again. SPY. Still kind of just hanging out. Technically, it's an inside day. You do have a little nice red candle. If we got some kind of gap up, that would have been crazy, but we're not at that point for sure. We are still under some VPOCs. I think this market does want to come at least back into the daily 10 EMA. So again, stay nimble, stay flexible. Today seems like a day to almost take profits quicker. Some of those like Teslas and Nvidia, AMD, you might be able to hold a little bit longer. Otherwise, YouTube land. That bell unfortunately means I have to disconnect. You guys are absolutely incredible. Before you guys leave, make sure you guys do hit the like, hit subscribe if you have not already. Stay current with any of the latest videos we put